All right, hello YouTube. Welcome to the Shadow Realm. This is my room. I just happened to close my lights because it looks better that way, and you can see me clearly. So this is perfect. Today I will show you a Kuva Tenet weapon tier list, and this is only because I know a lot of new players get the chance to get a Kuva and a Tenet weapon, and they don't know what to pick. They don't know which one will be the best for the late game, which one will be the best for the early game, etc., etc. So I think a tier list will give us the most definitive answer to what Kuva and Tenet weapon you should pick. And in my opinion, it is very important to know what your first Kuva or Tenet weapon should be, because it should easily be the one that you will use for most of the early game, and then you can transition to a better Kuva or Tenet weapon later on. So we will talk about this as well as ranking them individually. So we can begin. I know my camera hides it a bit, but I need to have a big camera so you can see me and see my hand gestures, opinions, and everything, in my opinion. So, first of all, we start with the Kuva Ayanga. So, Argon weapon. It shoots burst, if I remember correctly, and it is pretty good. So, a lot of people kind of shit on Archons when it comes to Tenet and Kuva weapons. I don't think any Tenet weapons are Archons, but we have two Kuva Argon weapons, and they're both really, really strong. Now, I'm not gonna say that Kuva Grattler or Kuva Ayanga are good for something like Profit Taker, or they're good for some specific kind of mission. But they both have some really insane AoE capabilities, and with the allowance of you being able to get them out on a mission, it becomes very, very fun to use them. And I think it is something that you actually can have fun with. I don't think they're the most cerebral. So, in my opinion, we should rank both of these since they're equal. I don't think Ayanga or Grattler is better. Both of them are really good. So, if you want, you can pick these up, both of them. They're decent, they're very fun, and overall, they can do a really good work, especially in Arcwing missions. They will shred everything, even on Steelpath Arcwing missions. So, I will give both of them a really good thumbs up, in my opinion. But obviously, since they are Argons and since they have a cooldown and they have not as many, not as much capabilities as normal weapons, since they don't have any kind of arcanes on top of them, they cannot get higher than a C tier. But I think C tier is a good position because they can be fun and they're actually useful up to a point. So now for the actual normal weapons, we start with all the Kuva weapons first. So the Kuva Brakk. So the Brakk is very interesting. It can be used for both damage and kind of, priming capabilities. But unfortunately, it's not the best. It has some decent stats. Like, you can get it to work, but that's about it. So it's kind of wasted potential, because some punch through, some tiny AoE, something could make this so much better. But as it is right now, the Kuva Brakk is a B tier. And as an early game player, you shouldn't look towards picking this. You should look towards picking other strong weapons that we're gonna talk about. Up next, we have the Bramma. So I'm getting emotional here, okay? This used to be one of my favorite guns in the game. It used to be so, so good. It just... I can't give it higher than a C tier anymore. So, what is wrong with the Bramma? The Bramma is good. It is still very, very good. The issue with the Bramma is that, first of all, its ammo economy is by far the worst out of every gun in the entire game. It has a worse ammo economy than the normal lens. It has a worse ammo economy than other Kuva weapons in this list when it shouldn't. And there are other Kuva weapons in this list that do what the Bramma does, but better. They have better ammo economy, and they don't have the annoying part where you have to charge every shot and kind of have it ready by just holding your mouse in forever. So, I mean, overall, Bramma is fun, okay? It never stopped being fun, but it's nerfed to the point that it's unusable, unfortunately. And I have a review on the Bramma. I love the Bramma. It's just not it. Unfortunately, it's just not it. The Bramma is just bad. And I cannot stress it enough. I hope D does something. I want my ammo back. I want Bramma to have 10 ammo again. It doesn't do anything with 5 ammo and 1 refillable. It doesn't have built-in ammo mutation. It doesn't have anything. Either give it built-in ammo mutation or give it 10 ammo in the mag, or like, you know, 10 ammo in maximum. Because right now what it does is nothing. It has damage and that's it. And the damage is not enough to damage other Kuva weapons in this list. So, let down. If you pick it now, if you were from back in the day, you picked it before Wukong and the Bramma and all the ammo changes got nerfed. The Bramma back then would be here or here, one of the two. Now it's here. It's just the reality. Kuva Chakkhurr. I hate this weapon with all my heart. Everyone has been asking me to take a look at this weapon and show stuff about it. So I know how to build this weapon. I know that this weapon is really good, and I know that it can bleed proc for an insane amount. You can do easily 50 million bleed proc damage, and you can easily do level cap with this weapon. But it has very low fire rate, it's extremely slow, and it feels sluggish to use. Unfortunately. This is why I hate it. I'm not saying that it's bad though. I can understand that the Chakkhurr is in a good spot, and it's a good weapon to pick even early game, because you have a weapon with a tiny bit AoE. It doesn't do much, but it's there if you want to group enemies and shoot them all at the same time. And then you also have the absolutely ludicrous damage that you can do to a single target. And if you are bad at specifically disruption missions in the early game, then the Chakkhurr would actually be a very, very solid choice for you. Because it's one of the best at doing this. It is insane as a disruption based build and shit like that. So overall, I think Chakkhurr is good, but I hate it. I don't like it. Just, I don't, my opinion. It's too slow for me. And I'm a person that likes Stalta. Stalta is slow, but it's not this slow. That is my issue as well. I feel like Stalta does what the Chakkhurr does, but just better. So yeah, I cannot recommend the Chakkhurr over the Stalta, but as a Kuva weapon in general for early game, yes, it's good. If you want to pick it early, go ahead. You will not regret it until very later on, which is kind of what I did. I picked the Chakkhurr early and then I sold it for credits because I stopped liking it and I couldn't take it anymore. It was just way too slow for me. So, Kuva Drakgoon. So it is, it is kind of neck and neck. You can't really tell what you can do with a Kuva Drakgoon. The Kuva Drakgoon is a weapon that you can either say, oh my god, it's amazing, and you could also say, oh my god, it's terrible. It has an augment, the Fomorian Accelerator augment. It can make it bounce a lot more, it can make it a bit interesting with combinations of Zada's Whisper. And for late game, it's actually not that bad. However, if you pick it early game, it's unusable. So, for these reasons, I give it a B tier. It's an overall mid weapon, middle of the pack, kinda. You can make it very good. River modes for this weapon slaps, but overall, it's just a bit mid compared to other choices of this list. So, B tier in my opinion. Next up, we have the Kuva Hek. The Kuva Hek, I have to contemplate between S and A tier now, because hear me out. It's a shotgun that has 4 bullets in the mag and a quick reload. It has a ton of damage, it is crit based, and for a shotgun that is crit based, any crit based shotgun basically annihilates anything in its path, and that is insane when you think about it. And for early game, it is the go-to weapon for Kuva Leeches and Sisters of Parvus, and any type of boss that you want to deal with that you don't have the damage immediately. So let's say you just unlock Archons. This is the weapon that you will most likely use for your first Archon. And it's absolutely amazing if you want to use it for your first Archon. You can go Ash, just use Smoke Screen, Vigor Swap, and then just shoot him in the face with 4 bullets at the same time. You will do a lot of damage to him. You will. You actually will. And yeah, it's overall really useful. But it's not for every mission. Would I pick this early? Yes. Do I think this still holds up today for some bosses, even with late game guns like the Ferrox, especially after the Ferrox nerf with Zada's Whisper? Yes. So I think S tier. I think S tier is fair for the Kuva Hek. But it can get better, for sure. But it still holds as an S tier weapon. It's still an S tier Kuva or Tenet for sure. Up next is the Kuva Hind. This is easy. Like it's close to here, very close. Actually, let's make left to right matter. So let's just do this. Left to right now matters. Boom, easy. So left to right matters, top to bottom matters. Good, great. So Kuva Hind, I mean, this weapon is nuts. It's like when Tiburon Prime used to be 5 Riven disposition, completely busted, no weapon could match it. That's the Kuva Hind right now. That's the Kuva Hind right now. This weapon, if you pick it early, you will not regret it at all. Because you have a semi-automatic fire that can bleed proc for an insane amount, you have a burst fire that has an insane DPS amount, and you have a full auto fire that feels amazing with the very tiny recoil, but you don't actually miss bullets. Very fast fire rate, very fast reload speed. You can mode it for viral and hunter munitions very easily. You can mode it for corrosive and armor strip, corrosive heat, and then let the heat procs do their work. You can do so many stuff with this weapon. This is an absolute insane early game weapon in my opinion. Like if you really want a very strong primary weapon for your early game to just carry you through early game, the Kuva Hind is your choice. It's absolutely amazing. And I think it is one of the strongest S tiers in this list, most likely. We will see as we go down the line, but as it holds now, I think Kuva Hind is probably on the most left side of the S tier. Actually, here, if we're talking about camera, because for me left is here, but for you it's here, so it's here. Yeah, very good. Recommend. Now, the next one is Kuva Karak. This is a don't even. I'm not even gonna contemplate it. If you're a Karak fan, I'm sorry. I've tried your weapon with a perfect build, hunter munitions, vigilante mods, corrosive armor strip, riven mods. I had a gold roll riven for it. I sold it to some guy for like 100 plat and didn't even care. I thought I was scamming him for 100 plat. I literally had the riven that gave me crit chance, crit damage, toxin, and a minus. And I thought I was on top of the world in early game. And then I tried it, and it dealt no damage. Listen, it might have been early game, but even at early game, you know that hunter munitions and viral is actually king. And when you build this thing for hunter munitions and viral, it does no damage even with a God Roll Riven mode. So why should I use it? The Kuva Hind is here. It's right there. You have Kuva Hind right up there. It's a Kuva Hind. Why would I use the Karak instead of the Hind? Don't take the Karak. Mastery fodder. It's actually just mastery fodder. It's just so underwhelming. It's insane. I don't know. They need to do something about the Karak. It's just not good. Like, you will use the normal Karak to level up, and then you get the Kuva Karak, which is kind of hype because of all the early game you kind of do it with a normal Karak, and the Kuva Karak is horrible. It's horrible. I don't even want to talk about it anymore. So, next up, we have one of my favorites out of the Kuva weapons, the Kuva Kohm. And the Kuva Kohm, I think, is definitely an S tier. I think in between these two. Very, very fast shooting, fully automatic shotgun. A ton of status chance. If I remember correctly, it starts with 80% status chance per projectile. Like, damn. You can, if you go 2 corrosive swords and you go corrosive heat on this thing, you can armor strip someone in 2 bullets. You can unironically armor strip someone in 2 bullets. 2. And it's fully automatic. It's OP. If you want to use it to like clear a room or anything, it's actually OP. It has punch through, it has an insane magazine size, and it has ridiculous fire. And it's just crazy. I don't know. The Kuva Kohm is definitely like one of the best out of these weapons. I don't know. I'm even considering putting it here, but I don't know. Kuva Hind, I feel like it's more useful in general because it's not a shotgun. The only thing that's holding this back is that it's a shotgun, but I mean, it's such a strong shotgun that I don't even know what to put it. Like, I've used the Kuva Kohm on Archon Hunts, and it works. I've used the Kuva Kohm on Sisters and Kuva Leeches, and it works. I've used it as a primer, it works. I've used it as a DPS weapon for room clearing, it works. The gun is nuts. It really is. It really is nuts. And the fire rate buff you can get from it, from arcanes and warframe abilities like Wisp and Gauss and all that, you can get some really, really strong stuff on it. And I do mean that this is definitely here, maybe even here, same for the Kuva Hind. Maybe we put them around by the end, but for now they stay here. So up next is the Kraken. The Kraken is our next A tier weapon. Very strong secondary weapon, bursts, and it feels like what the Sicarus Prime wants to be, kinda. The only thing that differentiates the Kraken from the Sicarus Prime is that the Kraken has a bit slower fire rate, but it more than compensates for that with its insane damage. The Kraken has a really strong damage profile. Like, it's a Kuva weapon, so you can start with innate toxin or innate heat or anything innate that you want. And at the same time, you have a ridiculously strong damage per bullet on the weapon before you even get the Tenet or Kuva, the Kuva progenitor in, that it's 60% of your weapon's damage, plus on what you already have. That is why it's insane. It has a lot of damage per bullet. So if you want to use it for something like a disruption mission, if you're early game and you need a secondary weapon to carry you, because up to that point your strongest secondary is Lex Prime, you don't have many modes to work with, this could actually help you even without many modes. If you have 2 modes, that is the crit modes, and you use it, it's gonna actually carry you by itself. It's just really, really strong, and that's why I recommend it. It's definitely something to look out for, especially if you're early game and you need a really good secondary weapon. The Kraken could be your choice. Now, there are more choices, we'll get to them, but Kraken, very strong. Keep it in mind. Up next, our first Z tier. I mean, is it even questionable that the Nukor is Z tier? Either your first or your second Kuva Lich should always be a Nukor. Always. Everyone needs a Nukor. The Nukor is this way to use. Why? Because 50% status chance per second on a beam weapon. Very high critical damage, and Smira Kavats and Ardaza Kavats exists. Harrow exists. Arcane Avenger exists. Hidden Herit exists. You have Cascadia Flare. You have so many things. Like, if you build a Heat Nukor, you have the microwave effect that helps you deal more damage the more you shoot a guy at the same position. You have an insane amount of hit procs from the status chance, and you instantly go up to 480% damage from your Cascadia Flare buff, so you absolutely destroy everyone that you point this gun at. And 2 other people as well. And if you have Punch Through, make it 4 other people. Maybe even 5. No, 5 other people. I'm sorry. I'm like not even concentrating on what I'm doing. So you understand that this is just an insane, an absolutely insane weapon for both early game and still path. Because in early game, even if we just use it for the microwave effect, with 1 mod, we can kill level 60 enemies. If we have a 30% hit Nukor and we add Scorch to it, we can kill level 50 enemies really quickly. As an early game player, that is insane for you. You can clear the start shot with 1 mod and this weapon. A Z tier. It's just, it is. It is. You can't even argue with me. Our second Z tier right after. Would you look at that? Why? Why is the Ogris Z tier, you may ask? Well, Nightwatch Napalm exists. Yes, Nightwatch Napalm is a very, very good. It's a very good augment. How good exactly is it? Well, it increases your damage per bullet by about 130% in total. Because you have to think that you're probably building the Ogris for heat if you're good. And the heat proc scales of your hit damage. So then you add roar to that, and then you just go ham. And it just scales your damage to ludicrous amounts. Then you may say, but the Ogris has like a terrible ammo economy. Yes, you won't pick the Ogris as an early game weapon. If you pick the Ogris as an early game weapon, you are going to be disappointed. Because you don't have Helmeth, you probably don't have good mods to back it up, and it's damaging what you want it to do, and you probably don't have Nightwatch Napalm yet, because you take it from Kill at the Thame, if I remember correctly. Sorry, excuse me. So overall, you know, you can keep this for like late game. But late game, the Ogris is the best AoE weapon in the entire game, and it's not even close. Largest AoE, especially when paired with the mod for Nightwatch Napalm and Heavy Caliber for the minus accuracy. Your bullets just go everywhere, cover the entire area. And to understand this, let's make it a test, right? Let's say I want to run an exterminate bounty on Zariman, on the new Talset, on Deimos, anything. The best setup by far will always be Mirage, Ogris, energized munitions, so you don't ever run out of ammo, you actually kill everything, and you can run through the mission, find extraction, and every enemy will just be at extraction, and you are one-shotting them. You are one-shotting them. You can just shoot a bullet at the general direction and just keep on moving, and the flames will just kill them. And there is nothing that even comes close to this. You can say the Envoy, which we'll get to later, comes close to this, but no. It's not even close. It's like the Envoy has its usages, it has multiplicative CO on the direct impact and everything like that, but it's just no. No. Not even close. Not even close. The amount of usefulness, the amount of synergies, the amount of everything that you can do with the Kuva Ogris can't compare. You really can't. Up next, Kuva Quartakk. This is another A tier in my opinion. Should go here, maybe? Yeah, I think that's fair. So Quartakk has two firing modes. It has a full auto firing mode, which is pretty slow but has a lot of damage per bullet, so it's okay. And it has a mode that people call it the shotgun mode. It's not a shotgun mode, it's just 4-round burst, and you shoot all 4 bullets at the same time. They don't spread out like a shotgun, they're concentrated on the actual hitbox that you're hitting, and they just go like a flak cannon onto the enemy. They don't lose damage the more range you have, they're hit scan, and they're easy to proc counter munitions with. And if you do proc counter munitions, then your damage, your damage just goes crazy. Your damage goes nuts. It's actually insane. So overall, it is an okay mid-range weapon. It is a really strong weapon for open worlds in my opinion because of that really good hunter munitions proc, and it's very good if you want to do disruption missions. So it is in the same boat with the Kuva Chakkhurr, but it's way faster. But it deals a bit less damage, obviously. Now, like with the Kuva Quartakk, you're probably dealing around 5 to 10 million damage per slash proc. This thing, the Chakkhurr, deals around 40 million. So you have faster fire rate, you have a way more comfy gun that also has full auto, but you're losing that. So they're around the same tier. You can take it or leave them, but overall, I think the Quartakk kind of edges out a bit the Chakkhurr because of its fully automatic firing mode and how easy it is to use. Because if you don't know, if you want to actually just shoot the fully automatic fire while aiming, you can hold left click. Wait, where's the camera? Shit. Hello. You can hold left click first and then go right click right after. And what that does is, as you're holding left click, when you aim in, you're not gonna change to the semi-auto. You're gonna keep the full auto and just aim in and you can play normally. Now the thing is, when you let go of the left click, then you're going back to semi-auto, but semi-auto is just so powerful that it doesn't matter. So overall, Quartakk, pretty good. Pretty good. So up next, we have the Kuva Seer. So the Seer, I mean, I'm gonna be honest, I haven't played this gun myself. I haven't played it at all. I don't know if I should even pick it up. From what I've seen, it is mediocre. And since I don't have that much experience with it, I'll probably put it on C tier in front of the Archons. Because I can see it being useful in circumstances, but since Kuva Brakk and Kuva Kraken are in, they're just better versions of the Kuva Seer. I mean, Seer can do stuff. It just, these two exist, so why would you use Seer instead of these two, in my opinion? but I guess it could be good. I haven't tried it. As I said, this is the only Kuva or Tenet weapon that I have never used in my life. But in my opinion, it could be okay. Maybe. Possibly. Maybe not. I don't know. You let me know in the comments. For me, it's a C tier. From my knowledge only, without even playing it. What I have played though is a Kuva Shildeg, and this is a D tier. Why is it a D tier? It's a hammer. Guys, in case you don't know, hammers suck, unfortunately. And I'll show you why they suck. If we go to Kuva Shildeg and we check its stats, we're gonna see some pretty good stats, like 3-meter range, you know, 31% crit, 2.7 crit multiplier, and 27% status chance. And you also have 0.92 attack speed, which is really high for a hammer. You may be like, damn, that's pretty good. Like, damn, I'm in the Twilight Zone. I'm looking at the sun here. I can see it on the camera. It's so funny. Regardless, the issue with hammers in general is this thing right here. Follow through 0.4. In case you don't know what follow through is a multiplier that will change your damage depending on how many enemies you're hitting at the same time. And this kinda does this. So picture you have two enemies in front of you. You're hitting them both at the same time with the same attack. One is dealt 10,000 damage. The other enemy is dealt 0.4 of what you dealt to the first guy. So 4,000 damage. You may say, okay, that's not so bad. Now let's make it 3 enemies. So the first enemy 10,000, second enemy 4,000, third enemy around 1,000. Right? No, that's incorrect. Around 1,500 damage. Alright, let's add one more enemy. Well, the next enemy is gonna take 600 damage. You see where it starts to get really bad with just this amount of enemies. Now let's go to a dagger. We go to this dagger. Follow through 0.9. What does this mean? We do 10,000 damage to the first enemy. We did a second enemy, we do 9,000 damage to the second enemy. Okay, we did a third enemy. Okay, the third enemy takes 8.2 thousand damage. Alright. The fourth enemy takes 7.5 thousand damage. With just 4 enemies, our DPS has increased by over 500% because of follow through. For that reason, DT, your stats are incredible, your single target damage is incredible, you're one of the best hammer weapons in the game, but you're a hammer. Hammers in this game are unfortunately really, really bad. And that's the end. Up next, Kuva Tonkor. Z. Below Ogris, obviously, but the best, in terms of damage, the strongest AoE weapon in the game, and the best, unironically, the best ammo economy out of every pure AoE weapon in the game. Like, we have weapons that are a mix of AoE and actual shooting. This is pure AoE. It doesn't have, like, full auto mode or anything like that. It already has the AoE mode. And every weapon that has only AoE mode has a very low magazine capacity. This one doesn't. You have 30 ammo. And you pick up, like, 3? You never run out of ammo. And your damage is ridiculous. Tonkor is insane. Tonkor, like, if you want an early game AoE weapon, you either go this or another weapon on the list. But this is something to keep in mind. If you're an early game player, you want a good AoE weapon, Tonkor. 100% Tonkor. Hunter munitions and crit mod, and you're done. Hunter munitions, critical delay, done. That's the build you need for Star Trek. Insane. Insane. Unironically, insane. If, like, damn. But it's obviously not as useful as Ogris in terms of how many synergies you can put on it, how many stuff you can do with it. But if you just want an AoE with pure damage and just pure damage and nothing else, it's yours. Why? Well, you may say, oh, it has one bullet in the mag and, it's slow and everything. Well, you have a trick, ladies and gentlemen. After you shoot, hit your R key, your reload key, whatever it may be. When you do that, you don't actually wait for the bullet to land in order to load your next bullet in the chamber, which saves you around a second per shot. Half a second to a second per shot on the Tonkor. This means you don't need the precision strike mod on the Tonkor to actually make it useful. You can just press R. And if you get used to this technique, your Tonkor's DPS is insane. It feels like you're using a Vectis Prime. You're using a very strong weapon. So yeah, Tonkor, Z tier, for sure. Kuva Twin Stubbers. I've used them, very mediocre weapons. I mean, they go below the Archons. As a secondary twin pistol, I mean, here's the thing. Every secondary twin pistol can be used as a primer. But these do not actually have so high fire rate to be useful primers compared to other weapons like the Twin Grakalas or the Twin Komaks. And in general, their damage is very mediocre. You can make them do good damage, don't get me wrong. And they feel nice, but they're not very useful. And, I've leveled them up, I've tried them a bit. They're just the worst version of another Tenet variant that we'll get to see a bit later. So, they're just on C tier. Moving on to the last Kuva weapon, we have the Kuva Zarr, which is gonna go right into A tier because this cannon is really nice. It has some really interesting and kind of bad mechanics, like the reloading one bullet at a time can be a nuisance because you're using 100% of the time you're going to use an AoE based weapon, you're going to use an ammo mutation. And when you use an ammo mutation on this, you may be losing ammo because you're reloading one bullet at a time instead of all bullets at the same time, which is kind of bad. On the other hand, this is one of the strongest AoE weapons in damage. It can become super fast with a fire rate, so if you want to kill a group of enemies even at level cap, you can actually just blow your load, exactly as I'm saying it, just blow your load on an area that you want to die and they will die. 100% of the time. Like, that is the beauty of the Zarr, and that's why the Zarr is so good. But at the same time, it has a bit of issues in the general usage. But I think it's still an S tier weapon. It is still super, super strong. It's just kind of a bit outclassed by the Tonkor and the Ogris. But I will still recommend it, especially if you're early game and you like the normal Zarr. Kuva Zarr will be something that you also will like a lot. But you may be running out of ammo because of the issues that I said with the ammo mutation. You'll have to play around that. It kind of sucks, kind of doesn't. You'll figure it out. Up next, we have the Tenet weapons. So, Kuva weapons list is this one. Here's webcam off. You have 3 seconds to take a screenshot of it before I put webcam on again so you can see. Hello again, chat. And we can go up to the Tenet weapons. So our first Tenet weapon, we're starting off with a melee Tenet weapon. So all the melee Tenet weapons and the Tenet Ferrox are obtainable by the Ergo Glass for some resource that I don't remember its name now. What was the resource's name? Corrupted Holokeys, that was the name. Thank you, brain. So Corrupted Holokeys, you get 40 of them, and then basically you can exchange them to get one of the Tenet weapons. And every week they get randomized stats. You can get a week that has like 53% Tenet Agendus, and you can get a week that gives you a 25% Tenet Agendus with magnetic proc. Overall, if you will need a lot of time to get this up to 60% in the desired element, but you will only need to pick 2 of them in total to do that. So, it's okay to have this kind of weapons. It's a bit more consistent, but at the same time, you are left with the luck of the developers, kind of, You have to just be there at the right time to pick up the strongest one, and then take your desired element another week, and then combine them. And that's where you get 60% of your desired element. So, Agendus is okay. Agendus is a B tier. Agendus is a B tier not because it's necessarily bad, but because its gimmick is horrible. The gimmick of you just slamming the shield down like this and having the projectile in front, it doesn't scale with anything. It really only scales with your combo counter, if I remember correctly, and almost nothing else. And that is the issue with it. You would hope that plus slam attack would scale it because you're slamming the ground in front of you. You would hope that it would take elemental damage. It doesn't. You would hope that it would take off your base damage. It doesn't. You would hope that it would take off your crits. If I remember correctly, it does, but it's not enough. And then all it actually does, and that is the most important, is take off your combo counter. So its only real usage is if you go melee crescendo and you actually go to time 12. But at that point, you have so many other weapons that utilize time 12 melee crescendo way better, like gunblades, like Corfel, like glaives. So you wouldn't use Tenet Agendus for that reason. But if you're using this as a sword and shield weapon, it is, if I remember correctly, the third strongest in its class. Which makes it a pretty good choice if you want that kind of weapon. And the other weapons, the two top sword and shield weapons, are not the easiest to get. One of them is a Login weapon, and the other one is the Sylva and Aegis Prime, which has been vaulted for a while. So, could be good. Decent choice. Just underwhelming gimmick, in my opinion. Up next, Tenet Arca-Plasmor. So, this is pretty much rivaling the Kuva Hek for the position, in my opinion, on the S tier category. It's definitely an S tier shotgun. It is one of the best weapons to pick up on the early game. It has a lot of damage for the early game, and it can clear entire rooms very, very quickly. Because of this, you have an amazing, amazing room clearing weapon from way, way, way early in the game that will completely help you annihilate Star Chart and even a bit of Steel Path on its own. So, overall, Arca-Plasmor is great. It sucks kinda against single target enemies, but by the time you get issues with single target enemies, you'll probably figure out a way to take care of them at the same time in the same mission. So, overall, I think Plasmor is amazing. I just think that people that put it as like Z tier, the best weapon out of the Kuva and Tenet weapons, I mean, let's be honest, it's not there. But it's strong. It's really strong. It would be there if it has like 3 Riven disposition and not 1. Right now, getting a Riven on the Arca-Plasmor, if you don't have a literal god roll, you wouldn't even use it. You're better off not using it. I have an Arca-Plasmor Riven, but the roll is not good enough for me to use it. So I don't use it. I lose damage. So S tier. Deserved. Could be Z tier. I don't know. Will probably never be Z tier because a lot of people use it, so Riven disposition will never be buffed. Regardless, really good shotgun. Up next, Tenet Cycron. So the Kuva Nukor's little brother is not even close to the level that the Kuva Nukor is. It's actually down here. It is the second best Kuva or Tenet secondary in the game, for sure. But the Nukor is just way, way, way stronger than this. And you may say, okay, but the Cycron has infinite ammo and whatever. Shush. Battery weapons suck. Battery weapons do not benefit from reload modes at all. Battery weapons are sluggish in the sense that you have to wait for them to be reusable. The good thing about battery weapons is that they have infinite ammo, but Nukor doesn't have ammo issues, especially if you use a mutation mode. Mutation modes exist, we can use them, and we probably benefit a lot more from them. The Cycron doesn't have the microwave effect that the Nukor has. The Cycron has better crit stats than the Nukor, but it has way less status chance. And overall, it's just the worst version of it. Is it good? Yes. It's still very, very good. And you can go hit Cycron and go crazy with it. I tried it with my damage buff Ember, which it just goes crazy with it. But overall, it's just the worst version of this gun. So it has to be here as the second best secondary in the Kuva and Tenet weapons category. Up next is the Detron. So Detron, the third best secondary in the Kuva intended weapons category, right after. What does the Detron do exactly? The Detron is one of the most useful secondary weapons because it is really easy to prime with it. It has a lot of upfront damage, even though its stats are very, very low. And you can do a lot of stuff with it. Because you can easily shoot all your bullets at the same time on someone and just outright kill them, prime them, or make them suffer. Either one of those three absolutely works. And overall, it's just, you have a pocket CC, a pocket pistol that will kill some annoying unit that you cannot take care of your primary, and you also have a primer at the same time. And it's really useful to have this as a secondary on your mission. Plus, this is one of the best secondaries to use when you want to do Profit Taker. There is a better one, we'll get to that. But if you want to do Profit Taker and you want to do it efficiently, most of the people, if I remember correctly, use this. There is one more secondary weapon that you can use for Profit Taker that is better, in my honest opinion, but most people use this. So keep that in mind. This is a very, very good secondary. Up next, we have the Tenet Diplos. So the Tenet Diplos is the equivalent of the Kuva Twin Stubas, but they are way, way better. So at the top of the B tier list, in my opinion, the Tenet Diplos are really, really fast at firing their bullets. They have a really... Just why does this mechanic exist even? You mark everyone and then your bullets just go to them automatically. Yeah, but I don't shoot enough bullets to kill the enemies that I'm marking. So what is the point of this ability? This is what I don't get. Like, if you could mark the enemies and just hold down left click and you just shot your entire mag on the enemy that you were marking, then that would be cool as hell. That would bring it like here probably, or here. Like, let's not leave the Cycron behind, but it would be here. It would definitely be there. As it is right now, it's here. And I love the Diplos. I have a really bad Riven of negative damage on the Diplos, and they're still shredding completely. But I mean, they're just not higher. They cannot be higher. There are faster secondary twin pistol weapons for priming. They do not do enough damage to warranty being above something like Kraken or even in A tier whatsoever. And the reload is kind of slow, which breaks them. Plus, they have this, I don't know, weird mechanic. I don't know why that mechanic exists even. I would completely remove it or just buff it to the way that I said, that you can actually mark and hold left click until the enemies die. Like, that would be way better, in my opinion. So, up next, we have the Tenet Envoy. One of the favorites in this tier list, in my opinion, and I think it's way more deserved to put it at the top or near the top of the S tier list, because I mean the Envoy is an absolute beast of a weapon. It is, if you for some reason didn't take a Kuva a Kuva variant of an AoE weapon yet, and you unlocked Sisters of Parvos, your first weapon is either it's either Tenet Arca-Plasmor or it's Tenet Envoy. And it's 100% that. Because the Tenet Envoy has amazing mechanics, it has slow reload speed, but you are backing up the slow reload speed by having an auto reload mechanic when holstered, where you can actually just use your secondary weapon and this thing will reload for you. Plus, if you have one mecha mode on your Kavat to give it armor and to utilize the health orbs for yourself as health conversion modes and all that, then you actually benefit way, way more from its passive. And it reloads way, way quicker with its passive because they stack with each other. So, overall, Envoy is a really, really strong weapon. Its damage is nuts. It has multiplicative CO on direct hits, which is why it has that mechanic where you can guide the bullet to hit directly onto the enemy. And, I mean, it's overall just great. It's overall great. The only thing that I kind of don't like about the Envoy is the fact that I kind of have to play around the mechanic of reload instead of reloading myself. because reloading myself is inefficient most of the time, except if you have a plus reload speed driven mode, which I do, and it made it way better. But it's just a kind of better version of the Kuva Zarr at the end of the day, because it has 8 ammo on the mag instead of 5, and it reloads them all at the same time, so way more comfy. You don't run out of ammo. But it has less damage than the Zarr, and it kind of has, a bit of slowness to it. Like, let's say you're like in a mission where you cannot use the mechanic. So this takes away from aim gliding completely in your mission. Like, if you want to actually just go to a mission and you want to shoot the ground and then aim glide in front of you, you're fucked. The bullet is going to follow you and do nothing. So it's kind of a double-edged sword. It can be bad to use its mechanic, but most of the time it's good. Overall, it's not up here yet, but it's still here, and it's still an insane weapon. And if you don't have an AoE weapon at the start of the game, I would pick this up for sure as my first Tenet weapon. Like, if let's say I have made a Kuva Lich, I have got a Kuva Nukor, and then I decided to make another Kuva Lich early game because I'm a psychopath, and I picked, I don't know, Kuva Hind. Next weapon would 100% be the Envoy. 100%. 100 fucking percent. It's not even close. Anyways, up next we have the Tenet Exec. So Tenet Exec is up here, or I don't know, somewhere in this list, but I'll put it up here. The Exec, Heavy Blade, yes. Damage through the roof, completely. The strongest Heavy Blade in the game, by far. Not crazy follow through, but its damage is so high that even with low follow through, it doesn't really feel that bad. I swear to God, it has 0.6 follow through, and you go to a group of 5 enemies and they die really quick. They die really, really quick, all 5 of them at the same time. And that is what makes it insane to me. Not the fact that, it has this mechanic with the slam attacks and everything like that, and you can play around that with Tempo Royale. Don't do that. Keep the stance mode that it has. Use the V-polarized stance mode, which was, Rending Crane? Rending Crane is insane. Rending Crane has some nasty attacks with it. Like, wait, let me bring up the video. Yeah, there it is. Alright. No, wait, no, it's not this. This. Okay, amazing, I found it. So, this is my first time using this weapon when I finally maxed it out on a rank. And this is angst just feeling the fucking, I don't know. Boop, boop. Like, Dan, why does this attack exist? You just hold left click, E, and then your attack deals 600% of your damage or something? Why? That hurts a lot. This is without Raven mode. This is a 5x and just Mirage with her 3 and Eclipse. I mean, it's old Eclipse, but still. What? It's just way too much damage. It's way too much damage on this. And, I mean, you have seen me use this on the next video. You have seen me use this quite a ton, in my opinion. And I think that the Exec is probably the best, or not the best, but one of the best Tenet melees to get. And it definitely deserves a spot at the S tier. Up next, Tenet Ferrox. And the Ferrox, maybe even here, I don't know. Wait, I have to think about it. So I have a Ferrox, I have a Raven on the Ferrox. I have tried to make the Ferrox really good. I've used the Ferrox on a lot of occasions, and I think its damage is horrible, but it has multiplicative CO. Yeah, around here would be good. So, as I said, damage pretty bad. Ability to kind of group enemies, not really worth it. It just doesn't do much. Regardless, crazy damage when you have primed enemies because it has multiplicative CO. On its own, not the greatest thing in the world. Feels okay to use. Looks amazing if you want to do fashion frame, which shouldn't really matter in this tier list, but whatever. I mean, it's okay. That's about it. It's, I mean, let's say you have 40 corrupted holo keys, you want to pick one of the weapons. and you see a Tenet Ferrox with 59%, and then you see a Tenet Livia with 25%. I would pick the Tenet Livia. You know, that's why it's down here. But at the same time, you can still pick the 59% and be happy. You would still do a lot of damage with this, and especially if you want to use it on the disruption mission, it does really well, because remember, this is fully automatic spear gun. Fully automatic spear gun with multiplicative CO goes kind of hard. So not bad. Not bad at all. Tenet Flax Rifle. This is... it's one of the two for sure. I think it's here. Flax Rifle... Nah, fuck it. Flax Rifle is just... Yeah, it's insane. It's insane. I can't stress it enough. So if you have any kind of punch through on your Flax Rifle, you deal so much slash procs, even without hunter munitions, that you're just left with a powerhouse of a weapon that was turned from a beam to a fully automatic hit scan weapon, which is... You couldn't have done a better change to this weapon to make it, like, insane. Because the normal Flax Rifle is good, but changing it to be like this is just what completely broke the gun. Because you still get the Flax Rifle specific mods, but you also get its insane damage, you get its insane slash procs, and you get a fully automatic powerhouse that reloads super quickly, has a ton of ammo, and it just gets you through any kind of mission that you want really, really quickly. It's just insane. The Flax Rifle, it's just... I think it's one of the strongest boosts from weapon to, like, from normal weapon to Tenet weapon. It's like one of the strongest boosts out there. There is only 3 weapons. Actually, there is 4 weapons that stand out completely for its normal variant and the Tenet variant. Or its Kuva variant, you know? And first is the Hind. Second is this. And there is 2 other weapons that we haven't even taken a look at yet that also get a big boost to its Tenet variants. So, up next, Tenet Grigori. Tenet Grigori is good. It's not bad. I think it's on the bottom of the A tier. And it's a scythe. So scythe means you do guaranteed slash proc on its heavy attack, if I remember correctly. I might be wrong. There is a high chance that I'm wrong. But I remember Reaper Prime is doing guaranteed slash procs, and this is same stance as Reaper Prime, so it should also slash proc. Regardless, even if it doesn't, you have the disc attack, which, yeah, you kind of have to initiate it yourself by slide attacking and then heavy attacking, which can be kind of bad for some people. Not for me personally, but at the same time, the Tenet Grigori is a weapon that you can make it synergize very well with a lot of things. And you can make it very, very strong, because when you actually build up the combo multiplier, not only do you get an insane amount of damage on the disc itself, which also scales with your elemental modes. It's the only Tenet weapon that its unique ability scales with its modes, but it also lasts longer. So let's say you have Mag Bubble times 12. That shit is gonna last 12 seconds. That is really strong. That is really, really strong. And this is why this is A tier. It wouldn't be A tier because of its damage. Its damage as a scythe is not good. Reaper Prime exists, it completely outdamages it. It's not even close. But it's... Oh, fireworks outside. Okay, that's what it sounds. Okay. Regardless, I was talking about, like, the ability. The ability itself is... It's great. It's so great. I love it. I love it. It's just, you know, you can do so much with it. And now with melee crescendo, which is not even something that you necessarily need. You know why? Because you can do this. When you holster the Tenet Grigori and the Tenet melee weapons, they all pause their combo counter, which means if you have a combo duration more than 10 seconds so you can react to it, you can use this weapon at the start, build it to the 12 times combo multiplier, and then swap to your primary weapons, do whatever you want, and when you need to use it, you equip it, you do slight heavy attack, and you get the disc. And the disc annihilates everything in a hallway. Great weapon. Great weapon. Up next, the best Tenet melee in the game. But where do we put it on the S tier? It's obviously above this. Is it above this? Yes. Is it above this? Questionable. Same. Probably not above the comp. So it's around here. I think I'll do. Now Plasmor is better. Regardless, why is the Tenet Livia so good? Well, it's a 200 Nikana, the best in its class by far. The pennant doesn't even come close. Nothing comes close to how good the Tenet Livia is. Not the touch prime, not the pennant, nothing. Tenet Livia has insane crit, good status, really good normal base stats, and you have this unique mechanic with the Tenet weapons where you increase the weapon's base damage depending on the percentage that you have. Which means that when you have 60% of any element on your gun, you add that 60% to the guaranteed slash proc on your heavy attack. And that hurts like a truck. The Tenet Livia is one of the few weapons that can unironically match the slash proc of the hate. And the hate, when you heavy attack with it, the slash proc is, it feels unbeatable. You slash proc the enemies for 60 million. You can also slash proc the enemies with 60 million with the Livia as well. The Livia goes crazy. It goes absolutely crazy. This is by far the strongest Tenet melee in the game. And obviously, if you get your first 40 corrupted holo keys, this would be my first weapon of choice. 100%. Like, let's say that I have a 25% hold or toxin. I'll pick it. You know why? Because then I can get a 58% impact and just combine the two, get a 60% toxin or cold because I combine the 58% with the 25%, and then I just select what the 25% element was and I'm good to go. And then I have the strongest Trinity Cannon in the game and one of the strongest slash melees, heavy attack melees in the entire game. Tenet Livia, absolutely nasty. Up next, the Tenet Plink. Plink, plonk. Why do we not put it on S tier? Because we cannot use the mod anymore. What was the mod even that we can't use anymore? They had it nerfed. I remember they nerfed it. Wait, I have to check it on the wiki. Tenet Plink. So it should be on the patch notes, right? Patch history, yes. Energizing shot, no. Synth charge, yeah. So synth charge is bonus final damage on shot applying to planet Plink's outfire. Synth charge is only intended to apply to the last shot in the weapon's magazine, but the outfire on the Tenet Plinks were receiving the damage bonus from synth charge on the entire magazine. Synth charge should only apply to the final slot in the magazine of multiple rounds and not to the entire magazine being dispelled in one shot. So this was listed as a bug. It made the weapon completely OP. It would, if this existed still, this would be probably like here, for sure, or here even. I don't know. Like, it used to be disgusting. Don't get me. You could easily hit 100 million slash proc with this weapon, and it's like AOE grouping ability, everything. It's still probably here. It's still probably there, and I'm very glad to say that it's still probably there because when the nerf was received to the Tenet Plink, I was super sad to see it go. And I was like, the Riven disposition is still low. I'll just sell my Riven. And I sold my Riven for the Plink. And now, I don't even remember if I have a Riven for it. But regardless, it is still really, really strong. And I love it. It has some really good stuff going on with the grouping ability. Multiplicative CO, internal bleeding, very high, very, very high bleed proc damage. You can easily level cap on a disruption mission just with a Plink and a primer. It does way too much damage. So, you know, it is, considering the normal Plinks was so bad, it's one of the worst secondary weapons in the entire game. Having the Tenet Plink be so strong is such a refreshing thing. This is kind of what I was hoping for when I heard new Tenet and Kuva weapons. With like, I was thinking, damn, can you imagine if they just take the Tenet static core and make it shoot faster and increase the crit a little bit? It would be the best secondary weapon in the game. Unfortunately, we didn't get that. But we'll talk about those. They're not in this list, in this tier list. I only have Tenet Tetra and Tenet Spirex left. But I'll talk about the Kuva... Fuck, what was it called? Sorry with an S in it. Whatever, I'll remember it, don't worry. But Tenet Glaxion and the new Kuva weapon. Damn, why don't I remember it? The one they use with Siren, goddammit. Whatever, I don't use it in general. I know it has the niche mechanics with Siren. The Sobek, yes, the Kuva Sobek. Thank you, brain. Holy fuck. Regardless. Tenet Spirex. This is the one that I said that the Tenet Detron is just better. You know? Or it's just the better version of the Tenet Detron, I'm sorry. So this is the better version of the Tenet Detron if you want to do the Prophet Taker. It is a single target pistol with multiplicative CO, really, really high damage, and the ability to impact proc enemies on hit, which makes it amazing for internal bleeding. It also makes it amazing that even though it has a low reload speed, it encourages you to hit headshots because hitting headshots reduces your reload speed, stacking up to 2 times also. So it is a headshot machine that deals an incredible amount of damage. I have showcased this gun on my channel, and we have seen that it's basically the Chakkhurr, but on a secondary weapon. And thinking about it, should probably be here, rivaling the Chakkhurr. Probably better than the Chakkhurr, actually. It's just... the Spirex is amazing. It's, it's kind of unique in its style because it's literally the exact same as the Chakkhurr, but it's faster. And because of that, I think it definitely deserves a spot here. But I also think Cycron should be moved up like this to, compensate for it. Because I do think Cycron is better than those. So, yeah. Yeah, still fireworks. Alright, cool. I live in a weird neighborhood, don't mind me. It's always shit. Just to be sure. Regardless, our last weapon, last but not least, the GOAT. The GOAT. Is there even a question in my mind that this is the best Kuva or Tenet weapon in the game? No. No, sir. Not even close. It's not even close. It's not even close. It's not even close. The Tenet Tetra, from all the versions of the Tetra we have the normal Tetra, we have the Prisma Tetra, and both of these Tetras completely suck. They are basically unusable. And then you get the Tenet Tetra, and it's just, damn, it's so good. It's so good. It has so high damage per bullet that it's ridiculous. It has very high crit and very high status chance and very high crit damage, and it has the strongest single AoE shots in the game. When your Kuva Tonkor does 30,000 damage and crits, this does 40,000 damage and crits more with more crit damage. And you can also get some crazy shenanigans. Because you may say, okay, but you lose your entire mag to get that very powerful shot. And I'll say, yes, you do. But have you thought of this? Go get yourself a Tenet Tetra Raven that has negative magazine capacity. If you have 3 plus and 1 minus, the negative magazine capacity goes up to 56%, if I remember correctly. There was a tool to check that, but I don't remember what it is. Wait, can I find it unironically if I search it? It's not overframe. Similar, yes, similar. Alright, amazing, thank you. I actually found it with just searching it. God, I'm in the sun again, I love it. It's just so fun. Why am I not searching it? Alright. Tenet Tetra. 0.7. I mean, doesn't look normal, does it? It has 4 even disposition. Wait. That doesn't seem normal. Hold up, chat. Hold up. I'm gonna open the game real quick. Because I'm 100% sure it has a 4 even disposition, so it's not, you know. I mean, this kind of looks weird now that I have hidden it, but I need to log into the game. But even like this, the negative... Even like this, the negative magazine capacity is 29%, which is okay. It has a base of 80, so it goes down to like 60. It's still way better ammo, but I'll actually just unironically show you what the thing does, because these are not the normal stats. Semler has kind of trolled us here. Except they nerfed the Tetra even disposition and I haven't seen it, but of course you give me 75% off. Yo, what the fuck? Why? Alright, hold up. We can show the screen now. Hello. So Tetra. My Tetra has a Riven disposition of 4. Similar. Okay, 195.6% damage. Our survey says... Where is it? 119. So, you know, these are not even close to the stats that we have. Maybe... I don't know. Where's the normal Tetra? This is still low. Wait, the Tenora? No. Okay, this is too high now. Alright, whatever. We pick a disposition 4 weapon, Opticor. Alright, that's fine. That's close to what we have. The Tetra is a bit higher, but you see still, you can get up to 50% magazine capacity. Negative. Actually, no, you can't see it here. 50% negative magazine capacity. On the Tetra, that it has a magazine capacity of 80, when you have this, look at this, you have this. What the fuck? Like, 60,000, 84%, 9.1. Damn. Damn. This thing hurts. It's secondary fire. It doesn't need primary merciless stacks at all. You just go ham with it. And that's why it's just so good. So, Tetra, the best Tenet or Kuva weapon by far in the entire game. I'm not even gonna argue. I have a video that I've gone to the new disruption mission on Armatus with the Tenet Tetra to level cap, and I've killed the demos within a minute, just using the Tetra and a primer. And knowing how tanky these demos are, and the fact that the more you shoot them, the less damage they take, the Tetra shouldn't even be able to kill them. But it has so much damage that it does. That's how strong it is. If you take this to a normal disruption mission on level cap, without a Raven mode, you can kill level cap enemies with 10 bullets if you prime them. Normal shit, just priming. 10 bullets. Does this sound insanely overpowered to you? To me, it does. That's why it's it here. This is one of the strongest primary weapons in the entire game. Now, would I pick the Tenet Tetra early game? No. But I would definitely pick it if I'm done with Star Charts and I'm done with New War and shit like that and I want a really good late game weapon, then I will 100% pick the Tetra. 100%. Regardless. We have 2 more weapons to talk about. Kuva Sobek and Tenet Glaxion. So recently, hold up. Let me find it. No, I can't wait. I need to find the exact stats because we got these leaked earlier. We got this leaked like 2 days ago. Wait. Has image. I'll find them, don't worry. I'll just need a bit of time. So be patient with me, chat, sorry. But I remember we have the stats of the new Tenet and Kuva weapons. Now, I know people may say, oh, you shouldn't talk about these on a video. I mean, they're gonna be released, what, in 1 week? Or what is it? So, does it really matter? I would say it doesn't really matter. And am I too far away? No, I'm not too far away. Okay. Yep, there they are. Alright, epic. So, no, not these. These. All right, awesome. So, Kuva Sobek, we have 21% crit chance, 23%, 21% starter chance, 2.3 crit multiplier, 40 meter range. I mean, overall, I would say the stats are good. Kuva Sobek seems okay, and it will probably go around A to S tier. If the augment still works, which 99% it will, then it's easy S tier. Easy S tier. Now, it will be a bit of, there will be quite a bit of trial and error for us to see where exactly in S tier it will go. But if we actually do get the stats that we're seeing here, plus the 60% of this damage right here, then we're looking at a shotgun that does 600 damage per bullet, hybrid crit status, and has the acid cells augment. So we're getting a very strong primary shotgun weapon. Now, is it gonna be top tier? No, but if you're a Sobek fan, you're gonna love this because you know you have the Sobek, but actually fucking strong on its own. So that is one of them, and then we have the Glaxion Vandal. Now, I would so with my knowledge of the game and everything, D tier. You may go like, what? Why? Why D tier? It's an 8 cold. It's an 8 cold. What does this mean for the weapon itself? We see that it has only 14% crit chance. With 14% crit chance, the weapon is not really viable for, you know. Oh, wait, this is Glaxion Vandal. This is the one. Okay, well, 20% crit chance. Yeah, it's still not even. It's still not great. Not viable for the for hunter munitions. All right, and this means that it doesn't really do anything. So you can use hunter munitions in this, but ideally, if you have the Tenet Glaxion, what you want from the Tenet Glaxion is build it for heat damage. You can't. Why? It's an 8 cold. You can't. Only thing you can do maybe is build it viral electric. But if you build viral electric, you still need the cold mode, you need the toxin mode, and then you need your electricity mode. And your electricity mode and your progenitor needs to be electricity, and then you're still in the dirt. Now you may be like, okay, why can't I do that with heat? Well, it just, I don't know, it kind of sucks. It kind of sucks to do this with heat. Like, it just, we don't have any kind of mode to increase our heat or you know, or electric damage massively for primary weapons, and this makes it so that this Glaxion doesn't actually hurt the enemies almost at all as much as you would want it to. Now the thing is, the Tenet Glaxion supposedly chains the enemies the same way that Torrid does. So in that sense, it could be good. If that happens, then you could see this as a C or B tier. But if it has the same mechanics as current Glaxion, and it has these stats right here, with innate cold, it's GG. The most likely builds that you're gonna see people running will be Toxin Progenitor and then Hunter Munitions. And Toxin Progenitor Hunter Munitions happen to not deal enough damage with this because, well, 20% crit chance. If crit chance was 25% and starter chance was, I don't know, 35%, a bit nerfed from the Glaxion Vandal, it would unironically be a better weapon. As it is right now, I hope they change the status a bit. I mean, they cannot change the innate cold damage, so I hope they change the status a bit. Because I want to see this weapon do well. As it is currently, it will not do well, unfortunately. A beam weapon is. This kind of beam weapon is very weak. This kind of beam weapon will be compared to Amprex and Torrid and the likes of those weapons, and with the likes of those weapons, it is dog shit. It is really really bad. So yeah, kind of a letdown on the Tenet weapon. The Kuva Sobek, on the other hand, yeah, that is insane. In my opinion, I would love to see a new kind of Kuva weapon or a new kind of Tenet weapon, like unique to itself. But I mean, it's fine to update older weapons. At least do it correctly. I hope the Glaxion has some really really good passive mechanics. It has like, let's say you give it even more AoE than Torrid. I want to see that happen. I want this weapon to just, you shoot at one person and it primes everyone. Then that would take it up to B or A tier easily, and it would maybe even S tier depending on how well it does with priming. You know, because you can get viral on your own. If you get viral on your own and then you can build for something like corrosive, that would be pretty good. Corrosive cold. I don't know. You have options with this. I mean, I would easily take armor ship and cold the freeze proc on somebody with the new cold changes for extra, extra critical damage, and the enemy just standing there completely frozen. That's cool. I'd take that. As it is right now, I would probably put it in D tier. I just hope it arrives as an actual really good weapon, and that I'm wrong. I really hope I'm wrong. We'll see. Time will tell. We're around a week away from the patch. So, with this, we are concluding the tier lists, and I am going to remove my camera so you can see what we ended up with. So, our template is, our Z tier is Tetra, Nukor, Ogris, Tonkor, and Flux Rifle. S tier goes Plink, Hind, Envoy, Kohm, Zarr, Arca-Plasmor, Livia, Hek, and Exec. Our A tier goes Quartakk, Cycron, Spirex, Chakkhurr, Detron, Kraken, and Livia. Our B tier goes Diplos, Drakgoon, the Agendus, Ferrox, and Brakk. Our C tier goes with the Bramma, god. Bramma, Seer, Grattler, Ayanga, and Kuva Twins. Our D tier goes with the Shildeg only, and our Don't Even tier goes with the Karak only. So, that is our list. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope this was helpful to you. If you're a new player, I hope now that you know what you should actually go for and what you should aim to actually make good or bad. And if you have something that you don't agree with me, if you want to tell me more about how the Mighty Seer is amazing, then you can feel free to join on the comments with that one guy that comments on every video. We all know him by now. And yeah, I hope you kind of agree with me on this list. Like, I want to see arguments, obviously, but with the amount of experience I have with all these weapons, except for this year, I think I am pretty spot on with this list. Like, I don't think I would change anything at all, looking at it now. Only thing I would change maybe is put Bramma here if we have pre-patched Bramma. Please remove Wukong from the game, I beg you. And rebuff Bramma. Can we remove Wukong and buff Bramma again? Thanks. What the fuck, is 1 hour and 20 minutes. It doesn't even feel that long. Regardless, thank you very much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. I'll have Discord and Twitch links in the description below, and I'll see you on the next video. Have a good one.